Hi everyone. We had a lot of fun exploring this topic together, weaving in stories and scenery. And then something interesting happened. The crew suggested, what if your future self could give a message to your present self? Well, what better way to do that than to imagine myself sitting on a cloud, looking down with perspective, with continuity, with hope. From that vantage point, the future me isn't here to scold or warn, but to gently nudge, to remind me that even small choices matter, that every moment can either ripple into pain repeated or transform into healing, growth, and freedom. And maybe, just maybe, by listening to that future self now, I can avoid another negative butterfly effect. I can choose to plant seeds of positivity rather than cycles of harm. I can choose to grow here and now instead of needing to be reincarnated into yet another critical life cycle just to relearn the same lessons. So tonight, as we lift the masks we wear, I invite you to imagine your own future self, the wiser, gentler you, sending a message of continuity, courage, and healing, because that voice is already within you and it's waiting to be heard. You know, we humans are remarkably good at pretending. We can hold down jobs, raise families, crack jokes at dinner, all while carrying entire histories of pain inside us. And one of the ways we get through that pain is by numbing reality. Sometimes it looks like overwork. Sometimes it's a drink at the end of the day. Sometimes it's endless scrolling or a smile that hides exhaustion. And other times it's simply silence. Carl Jung once said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And isn't that true? We numb because we're afraid, afraid of remembering, afraid of collapsing under the weight of our own story. But reality waits, always. It never leaves. So let us ask ourselves, why do we feel the need to numb? I remember a man I worked with years ago. Let's call him David. On the surface, David had it together. A good job, a family, friends. But he carried childhood wounds he never faced. Instead, he buried them under achievements, under constant busyness. One day he told me, if I stop moving, I'll drown. And I thought, there it is, the great fear, that if we stop numbing, the pain will consume us. But numbing isn't healing, it's postponing. And the more we postpone, the deeper the roots grow. The mess. Healing, when it finally begins, is messy. It doesn't come dressed in clarity. It comes in fragments, sleepless nights, old memories resurfacing at inconvenient times, tears we don't understand. I think of a woman I'll call Maria. She once said to me, "Why does it feel like I'm falling apart when I'm finally trying to put myself back together?" Because healing disrupts. It dismantles. But that dismantling makes space for something new. And the paradox is this: if we can meet those moments with unconditional positive regard for ourselves and even for the people who failed us, we start to shift. Not by excusing what happened, but by saying, "This too shaped me, and I refuse to let it be wasted." That's gratitude. Not for the harm, but for the growth that can rise from it. Gratitude becomes a bridge from pain into meaning, from fragments into foundation. The cycles we live in are a slippery slope, are they not? Have you ever noticed how the same patterns keep reappearing? The same kind of relationships, the same old fears, the same arguments with yourself. Jung described individuation, becoming whole, as a spiral. We don't walk in straight lines. You circle back. And here's the gift. Each return is an invitation, an opportunity to face the old wound with new strength, new awareness. We can numb and repeat unconsciously, or we can awaken and turn the cycle into a path. A braver world is out there, it's here, inside us. We just need to choose. Now, this is where I have found Dr. Tasha Eurich's work can be useful. Her research on self-awareness shows us that people who are willing to look inward honestly and outward with humility live more fulfilled lives. They're not free from struggle, but they metabolize struggle into wisdom. Eurich calls for a braver world. And she's right. But a braver world begins with braver selves, braver families, braver communities. And bravery here doesn't mean charging into battle. It means daring to face your own reflection, daring to sit with the discomfort of your story, daring to say, I will no longer numb myself into silence. Now the question remains, how do we serve a loved one or ourselves caught in this messy transition? Not by rescuing them, not by feeling and enabling our pain body, not by dictating their healing or ours, but by being present. Sometimes the bravest love is quiet. It's saying, I see you, I'm here, and I believe you have the strength you can't yet see. I think of a father I knew whose son struggled with addiction. The father once told me, I finally realized my job wasn't to fix him. My job was to love him without losing myself. That's presence. Compassion without enabling. Boundaries without abandonment. Cycles will repeat. Shadows will return. Pain will knock at the door. But every time we have a choice. To numb or to awaken. To collapse or to create. To resent or to practice gratitude for even the most ungrateful experiences. And when we choose awareness, when we face reality with compassion, gratitude, and courage, we don't just heal ourselves, we ripple that healing outward. We make braver families, braver communities, and yes, a braver world. So maybe the invitation tonight is simple. Stop numbing, start noticing, and let every scar become a story of growth. As we close tonight, I want to leave you with this. Healing is not a straight line. It is not perfect. It is not always graceful. But it is possible. And it begins the moment we choose awareness over numbness, compassion over judgment, and courage over avoidance. I invite you not just to carry these words, but to engage in your own healing, to pause, to notice, to sit with yourself honestly, and to remember that you don't have to do it alone. And if at any point you feel the call to connect one-on-one, know that space is here for you. There are also tools to support you along the way. One I recommend is www.mindease.fun, a free and useful resource designed to gently aid you in navigating life's messiness. So let us step forward together, mindful, courageous, and human. May we remove the masks, embrace the mess, and walk toward healing with grace. Thank you. My name is Arcadian, and once again for tuning in. Be safe. Be well.